Top 5 FHA misconceptions. This is Loan Officer Reacts and Brian McIntosh. And this is part of my Tight on Cash series. I do a fair share of FHA financing, and I hear a lot of interesting things from non loan officers, if you will, about FHA financing. And I don't want to call them myths, I like to call them misconceptions. So, one of the first ones that comes to mind is that FHA loans take longer than conventional loans. I've had heard from multiple people that FHA loans take 45 days to get done. And I can tell you right now, that's categorically false. FHA loans don't take longer than conventional loans. Is there maybe a little bit extra work on the lending side? Maybe a couple of pieces of paper that the buyer may need to sign and the seller to sign? Sure. But it's not equal to having to extend the time to originate out to 45 days. So I can tell you for sure that FHA loans don't take 45 days to get done. You can actually get them done in 2 weeks if the stars align and you do everything correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and say that one's not true. This second one I heard a lot during COVID, post COVID, when the market was on fire, and that was FHA appraisals are way tougher than conventional. We had clients losing out on offers because someone else offered conventional and they were offering FHA. And sellers just didn't like the idea of an FHA appraisal. Now, there's some truth to it that an FHA appraisal is a little more strict on certain things when it comes to the what we call an appraisal inspection. And just to kind of give you an idea, some of the major things that pop up when we talk about an FHA appraisal inspection is things that get notated are going to be chipping paint, whether it's on the inside or the outside of a home, rotting wood. On typically, we see this on the exterior of a property around window seals and near the base of a home, where you can see there's water damage. That gets called out on an FHA appraisal is required to be fixed. Other things that we would see would also be railings. Railings is another big one. So if you've got a porch or some kind of elevated surface that's 36 inches or higher off the ground, a railing is required. Another one that I see as well is going to be porches, wooden decks, things like that, where there it's clearly weather worn. You see the wood splintering, paint has faded away, and it's exposed wood. Their FHA is going to want that to be fixed as well. All of this surrounds safety. So those are the things that with FHA, and that's not a comprehensive list. Those are the big things that I notice when we talk about FHA being tougher. We're talking about outside the common things that you that are required. For example, heat is required in a house, not air conditioning. Interestingly enough, appliances that are installed into the house have to work. So if they're present, they need to work. And those things actually translate to conventional. So when we talk about FHA and conventional and how FHA appraisals are they actually worse? There are a few extra things that they look at, but some of it's kind of common sense stuff of if you're going to buy a house, do you really want to buy a house that's going to have chipping and peeling paint everywhere, that has rotting wood in certain places on the home? Chances are most people would say no. There are some exceptions out there for sure. But would I say that FHA appraisals are significantly more difficult than a conventional appraisal? Certainly not. Number three, sometimes FHA gets a reputation that's only good for first time homebuyers. And I'm here to tell you, it's not necessarily true either. A lot of first time homebuyers tend to go FHA for certain reasons. Maybe it's down payment, maybe it's going to be a credit score thing, maybe a debt to income ratio situation. There's multiple reasons why people would choose FHA. And you could throw in with them being a first time home buyer, but FHA is not strictly for first time home buyers. It's great for anybody, depending on what they want to accomplish. Right. A lot of times, if we're looking for less out of pocket, maybe we're looking for maybe even cheaper mortgage insurance than what they would get for conventional. FHA provides a lot of different solutions to different problems that other people may have, especially when we're comparing between conventional. So, not strictly for first time homebuyers, even though a lot of first time buyers end up using FHA financing. I just mentioned how FHA can be used for homebuyers who are credit challenged. But at the same time, it's great for people who have fantastic credit. So if your credit score is an 800, FHA still could pan out for you depending on what your goals are. So FHA sometimes gets tagged for only good for people who are credit challenged when that's not really true either. If you have great credit, FHA could still be a viable option for you. Again, depending on what your goals are and does it help you achieve them. And some conversations that I have from time to time, I kind of get this vibe that FHA is just not as good as conventional. And I think that's just more about the thought of when a lot of people talk about mortgages, the word conventional comes out of our mouths, and we just think conventional mortgage, conventional home loan financing is going to be the best options over an FHA. Uh, and really, that's not always true. FHA can be a significantly better option. A really good example that I came across earlier this year was I had a client that was just only being shown conventional options for him on his financing until we met. And I said, hey, let's take a look at FHA. And we came to find out that by going FHA, his mortgage payment was $150 a month better than going conventional. And it didn't cost him extra money at closing. And he actually saved money over time. So when we talk about what's actually better, you can't just say conventional is better than FHA. In certain cases, could it be more cost effective? It could be conventional, it could be better, but you need to be able to compare both FHA and conventional because everybody's situation is different. There's multiple factors that affect how your financing pans out: credit score, your income, your debts, how much money you have, what you're putting towards down payment. There's a lot of factors that affect your financing type, which could affect your overall mortgage payment and how much money comes out of your pocket. So just the overall idea that conventional is just better than FHA is not really true. Everybody's situation is so unique and different. It's hard to generate for me to say, yeah, that would be true that conventional is better than FHA when I've had plenty of situations where FHA has actually been the better situation over a prime candidate for conventional financing. Well, that wraps up my top 5 FHA misconceptions. This is Loan Officer Reacts. I'm Brian McIntosh, and you are watching Tight on Cash.